Have you ever stood on a beautiful beach, listening to the gentle rhythm of the waves, only to watch the entire ocean pull back, disappearing over the horizon? It sounds like a scene from a disaster movie, but this isn't fiction. Imagine looking out at the shore, seeing stranded boats, struggling fish, and a vast, muddy plain where the sea used to be. This baffling and terrifying phenomenon has happened in real life, leaving communities in shock and scientists scrambling for answers. What could possibly make the ocean vanish? Let's travel back to 2017, to the coast of Brazil and Uruguay. Residents woke up to an unbelievable sight. The Atlantic Ocean had retreated, in some places for hundreds of meters, leaving behind a surreal, barren landscape. The horizon itself seemed to have shifted. People were walking on the seabed, a place normally deep underwater. The initial reaction was a mix of awe and fear. Was this the end of the world? Was a biblical event unfolding before their very eyes? News footage from the time shows this eerie scene, with the usual bustling beachfronts looking like desolate wastelands. But then, just as mysteriously as it vanished, the water returned. The tide came rushing back in, not as a destructive wave, but as a rapid, powerful flood, reclaiming its territory. This event left everyone with a burning question. What just happened? Whenever the ocean pulls back dramatically, the first thought that springs to mind for many is a tsunami. And that's a very valid and life-saving instinct. This rapid retreat of seawater from the coast is known as a drawback, and it's a classic precursor to a tsunami. Think of it like this. Deep beneath the ocean floor, tectonic plates shift, causing a massive undersea earthquake. This sudden movement displaces an enormous volume of water. It's like dropping a giant stone into a pond. The initial displacement can pull water away from the nearby coastline, creating the drawback effect, but that water has to go somewhere. It builds up into a powerful wave that then races back towards the shore. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami is a tragic and powerful example. Before the devastating waves hit, the sea receded astonishingly far, exposing the seafloor for kilometers in some areas. Many people, unaware of the danger, ventured out to explore the exposed seabed, only to be caught by the incoming tsunami. So if you ever see the ocean suddenly and dramatically retreat, the safest action is to immediately head for higher ground. Don't wait to see what happens next. But a tsunami isn't the only explanation. In some cases, the culprit is something happening not under the sea, but high above it in the atmosphere. A hurricane. In 2017, as the monstrous Hurricane Irma churned towards the Caribbean and Florida, it created another bizarre ocean phenomenon. In the Bahamas, residents of Long Island were stunned to find their bay completely empty of water. The ocean had literally been sucked away, leaving docks high and dry and the seafloor exposed. A similar thing happened along Florida's west coast. In places like Tampa Bay, the water was gone. This wasn't a tsunami drawback. It was the sheer power of the hurricane's atmospheric pressure. Hurricanes are incredibly intense low-pressure systems. The pressure at the center is so low that it acts like a giant vacuum, pulling the water up into a bulge at the storm's core. At the same time, the powerful winds blowing offshore physically push the water away from the coastline. The combination of these two forces can literally drain coastal areas, creating the illusion that the ocean has vanished. Of course, once the storm passes, that water comes surging back, often creating a dangerous storm surge. So, how does this all work on a scientific level? Let's break it down. We have two main drivers, geology and meteorology. For tsunamis, it's all about geology, the movement of tectonic plates. The drawback is the trough of the tsunami wave arriving before the crest. For hurricanes, it's meteorology. Imagine a giant, spinning storm. The incredibly strong winds blowing away from the land literally push the surface water out to sea. This is called wind setup, or in this case, a set down. Simultaneously, the extremely low atmospheric pressure in the eye of the hurricane acts like a straw, sucking the ocean upwards. This bulge of water, known as the storm surge, gets pulled along with the storm. When the storm is offshore, it can pull water away from the coast. When it makes landfall, it pushes that bulge of water onto the land with devastating force. What happened in Brazil, however, wasn't caused by a local hurricane or a nearby earthquake. It was a rare combination of an unusually strong offshore wind and an extratropical cyclone far out in the Atlantic, creating the perfect conditions to push the water away from a massive stretch of coastline. The human reaction to these events is always a mix of fascination and primal fear. It taps into something deep within our collective consciousness. For coastal communities, the ocean is a constant, a provider, and a source of life. To see it suddenly disappear is profoundly unsettling. It disrupts the natural order of things. This phenomenon also brings to mind ancient myths and stories from cultures all around the world, most famously the parting of the Red Sea. For centuries, people have told tales of the sea pulling back to reveal hidden paths or lost cities. Seeing it happen in modern times connects us to these ancient narratives, reminding us that the awe-inspiring events described by our ancestors were sometimes rooted in real, observable, natural phenomena. It's a humbling experience that bridges the gap between myth and science, showing us that our world is still full of wonders and mysteries that defy our everyday expectations. What these events ultimately teach us is a profound lesson in humility. We build our cities on the edges of the continents, we sail across its surface, and we draw resources from its depths, but we are never truly in control of the ocean. It is a force of nature so immense, so powerful, that it operates on a scale we can barely comprehend. The sudden disappearance of the sea, whether from a distant storm or a tremor in the Earth's crust, is a stark reminder of nature's unpredictability and its raw power. It forces us to respect the natural world, to study its mechanisms, and to always be prepared for the unexpected. The ocean gives life, but it can also display a might that commands our absolute reverence. So the next time you stand by the shore, take a moment to appreciate its vastness and remember the incredible forces at play, both seen and unseen. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the mysteries of our oceans fascinating, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the wonders of our world. Stay curious and stay safe.